Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
War in the Middle East is raising concern in our city.
There is great fear in the community.
Is there racism at NAIT? One incident is raising concerns.
It's not acceptable. We don't want any students to feel like they're unwelcomed here on campus.
The housing market is limited in the city, but the new zoning bylaw is helping to increase availability.
Why not finish your district plans first? That's a logical step.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. As the conflict in the Middle East continues to escalate, local communities are feeling its effects, predominantly for Jewish and Palestinian communities.
And they are facing uncertainties if members back in the Middle East are safe and if they themselves will find safety in our city. Our Landon Hickok joins us live from the NAIT hallways for more on that story.
Thanks, guys. As the situation continues to develop in the Middle East by the hour, local communities in the Jewish and Palestinian communities have been dealing with expressed emotions like anger and confusion and sadness. They're trying to advocate for awareness of the people back home who are directly affected by war. Home footage from inside Israel and Gaza have been flooding social media. Continuous footage of destruction and civilian cries for help would often bring solidarity between ethnic groups. However, reactions from around the world have been sharply divided. Over the last couple of weeks, multiple demonstrations have appeared in solidarity for the Palestinian community and calling for Israel to be held accountable.
Anytime we talk about Palestinian resistance, it's always labeled terrorism, and any Israeli aggression is always labeled self-defense. So that narrative has to change.
These protests come before Israel is expected to begin their ground invasion into the Gaza Strip to flush out Hamas. Palestinians are worried how many more civilian lives will be lost as a result.
Israel does not hold a monopoly on Judaism. There are many Jews that are anti-Israel or anti-Zionist. So Israeli doesn't mean Jewish, and Jewish doesn't mean Israeli. And people have to understand that. Our movement here does not tolerate anti-Semitism at all. That's not what the Palestinian movement is.
For the city's Jewish community, while significantly smaller than the local Palestinian population, the conflict seems to hit closer to home.
There is great fear in the community. Anybody who I've been speaking to over the last 2 weeks, myself included, has immediate family in Israel, and quite a few have had ties to some of the tragedies that have occurred there recently as well.
The concern of Israeli citizens and those abroad has now shifted to the involvement of states from abroad, particularly with Lebanon, where fighting between Hezbollah and the Israeli Defense Forces have been going on in the border, and the threats made by Iran. There is real concern now that a multi-front war will continue to escalate and will determine the future of the state of Israel and Palestine as a whole.
Landon, has the city taken any steps to bring in protection for these communities?
For what we understand, the city has increased security measures to protect Israeli and Islamic sites such as places of worship and schools. Just this last week, there were a couple of calls made to police. A man yelled anti-Palestine threats to high school students at Queen Elizabeth High School, as well as another man who yelled threats against the Muslim community at a local grocery store. As of now, all local demonstrations have been peaceful to this point, so far there hasn't been much to worry about.
What has been the federal government response in all of this?
Yeah, so Canada and Israel have been closely tied at the hip since Israel's founding as a state in 1948. Justin Trudeau himself has attended an anti-Semitic pro-Israel conference just a few days ago, and he's expressed Israel's right to self-defense against Hamas after the terror attack. He has stressed, however, about keeping the rights of Palestinian civilians ahead of Israel's expected invasion of the Gaza Strip.
Thanks, Landon. That's Landon Hickok reporting live from the NAIT hallways tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
A hate message found in one of NAIT's washrooms has prompted a swift joint response from the school. With the increase of international students on campus, NAIT is hoping there won't be more to come. Stay out of affairs that don't concern you, says the letter found in an ex-building women's washroom. The message is directed to Filipinos and appears to be written by an indigenous person, but according to NAIT's President Tylene Saison, no one has come forward to take responsibility for the act.
For us, it was quite shocking. We've never had a situation as long as I've been here like this, so it was not acceptable. We don't want any students to feel like they're unwelcomed here on campus.
There are roughly 2,600 international students enrolled at NAIT, and Saison asked people to come forward if they witness or experience any other targeted incidents.
For more than 60 years, the city of Edmonton has been using an old zoning bylaw across the city, but this may change after an updated bylaw was proposed to the public.
This will help public speakers estimate when they may be called to speak.
The city government held a public hearing this week regarding a new bylaw which makes city zones from 46 down to 20, as well as reducing regulations in residential development that aim to help affordable housing. However, some may argue that there are still some factors to consider before approving the new bylaw.
Why not finish your district plans first? That's a logical step, and then put your bylaw up for discussion again with the communities. Go to your communities, because that's not being done. You need full community engagement in order to make this a better decision, a better bylaw.
The decision is still unannounced, but according to Nadine, they might get an update within next week.
Transit riders will have to remember bringing their fare cards as the city phases out older ticket machines next month. On November 1st, the city of Edmonton will replace paper ticket machines in favor of the more modern ARC cards. The city gradually tested the cards with different age groups over time to make sure everyone is comfortable with upgraded transit tech.
These machines, they're very old, they're at the end of their useful life. They're really challenging to maintain. And so by removing them, all those spots that have the old machines will now have an ARC machine.
Ticket validators will remain, and transit peace officers will still be conducting two kinds of checks. Feldman says they're working to keep fare prices low, but commuters who want to share their thoughts can fill out the monthly rider survey or contact the 311.
If you know someone that wants to be a nurse in Alberta, well, this might be a good time to apply as an international nursing student.
Getting someone of heroin both given
$11 million are invested for 10 post-secondary institutions, including MacEwan and Northwest, as part of the Nurse Bridging Program from the Alberta government. The investment aims to open more capacity for international students and help address the current nursing shortage in the province.
One of the reasons was to make sure that we tap into all of that potential that is out there, but really has no clear pathway to getting those credentials here in Canada, and in this case, here in Alberta.
Total of $24.7 million was invested into the program to provide annual maintenance, facility improvements, and financial assistance. Mr. Soni stated that this will help nurses across the country get credentials in Alberta and allow them to enter the labor market.
Coming up after the break, we head to the volleyball courts at NAIT, where the Ooks men's team is about to kick off their season with a big veteran presence.
As well as to take a look at this week's question of the week on why NAIT might be the right campus for you.
Hi guys, I'm Blue H, your sports host this week, and this week we touch down on some U of A Golden Bears football, as well as we take a look at the men's Ooks volleyball team. So stick around for all that and more.
I'm Brandon Elias, and even though the weather's starting to get chilly outside, it's still looking up in the province. We take a look at this and more in weather coming up.
Leo, don't you think it's starting to get a little cold out?
Absolutely, but at least there's no snow on the ground yet. Isn't that right, Brandon?
Well, you two, that is completely correct. And right now, we do not see snow until next week. And for now, this weekend is looking pretty decent. We still get to enjoy the beautiful fall weather with the amazing colors coming off the trees. We all love that orange, yellow, and red. And let's spend some time outside this weekend and enjoy that. So let's head over to our weather around the province and let's take a look what's going on. So first of all, we start off in Calgary. We're looking at a high of 12 degrees and a low of -4 with a 70% chance of precipitation. And we're looking at around a low of -4 as well for Sunday, with only a high of +7 with a 30% chance of flurries in the city with about 3 to 4 centimeters of snow. Then we head on over to Jasper, where we're looking at a -3 low and a high of +11 with a 40% chance of precipitation. We're looking at around the same temperatures for Sunday as well. Then we head on over to Fort McMurray, where we're looking at a 0% chance of precipitation on the Saturday, a high of +10 and a low of -1. And for Sunday, we're looking at around the same low with only a high of +4. And then we head over to our city, where we're looking at a 0% chance of precipitation on the Saturday and Sunday with a high of 11 degrees and a low of 0. But Sunday we are looking at a slight chance of frost in the morning, so there is going to be a frost advisory, so just be careful if you're out there on the roads. Then we're going to look at our average highs and lows as well as our records. So our average high for this time of year is around 8 degrees and our low is 1 degrees. And for our records, we're looking at 1942 for a high of 26 degrees and a low of -17. So if you're planning on going outside this weekend, you might need a slight jacket on just to keep yourself warm, but you can still enjoy it for now. I'm Brandon Elias, your NAIT NewsWatch weather.
NewsWatch weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
Choosing a post-secondary institution can be very hard on students graduating from high school. The NAIT Open House gives a chance for these students to come explore the campus as well as all the program has to offer.
For this question of the week, we partnered up with The Nugget to ask students for advice to give prospective students looking at NAIT for post-secondary education.
Hi, I'm Miras and I'm with The Nugget.
My advice would be to get involved with students, expand your network, join clubs, and don't forget to ask questions, meet new people, talk to new people. That way you can build your network.
Just stay on top of all your class schedules, especially if you have 5 courses. Those deadlines can creep up pretty quick and you want to stay on top of it.
Know your way around, definitely. Go to your classes before you get to school, before your first day, so you don't get lost.
I think that the class sizes really make a difference for NAIT. You know, I think that you kind of get to know your teachers a little bit more and your teachers know you, and it kind of creates a bond that's really special.
I think NAIT has a very diverse campus. I know when I walk around the hallways, I see diversity almost around the corner. So when you have that diversity, it kind of pushes your campus.
Visit thenuggetonline.com for NAIT news, entertainment, and more.
October is an exciting month for sports fans, with school sports getting back into action.
Also, who doesn't love a fun of fall football? Let's start us over to Ru for more details.
Thanks, guys. Our very own UX sports teams, including volleyball and basketball, have their home openers this weekend. And with our men's volleyball team having a new coach, the team is set up for success this season. This is a make or break season for the 5 fifth-year players on the roster. After making the ACAC championships last year and pushing it to semifinals, the team is confident they can take it even further this year.
I mean, gotten really close with the guys. Lots of them have been together for the last 5 years. Yeah, super competitive practice environments, I think, is probably the #1 thing I'd say that makes us feel like we have really good chances here.
This season kicks off tonight at 8 p.m. against the Concordia Thunder here at NAIT, marking the beginning of a riveting 19-game season filled with action, team spirit, and brotherhood. This time of year is an exciting time for many football teams around the city, as playoffs are approaching and football season nears the end, at least at the university level. The University of Alberta Golden Bears are feeling optimistic headed into their next 2 games before playoffs. After not making the playoffs last season, the team is thrilled to be the first in their division headed into playoffs this year. From practicing hard several days a week, intense team bonding, and traveling together as a team, the secret might be a team that plays well together, wins together, both on and off the field.
Every year it's been a mystery if we're making playoffs or not when we get to the last week of the season, but this year we got a new energy. We've felt it since the start of camp. The fellows are buzzing, we're actually winning. We know what we're doing now, and we're gonna keep this going. This is a selfless team. Everyone's here playing for each other. Everyone knows their role, and we do everything they can to win.
The Golden Bears take on the University of Manitoba team this Friday in Winnipeg, and then back on their home field next Saturday against UBC. The 2028 Olympics are making home runs with their new sports editions. The 5 new sports, including baseball, will hit the streets of Los Angeles, bringing new fans and new energy. Our Karis Jorgensen has more on this story.
The International Olympic Committee announced the 2028 LA Olympics will be featuring new sports. Baseball will be making its comeback to the Olympic stage after its most recent return in 2020 and being dropped for Paris in 2024.
It definitely just opens a bigger avenue for growing the game and allowing kids to kind of aspire to play at the Olympic level, which we hadn't had before, right? Best on best in the whole country, in the whole world, right? So that's kind of why we love the Olympics and we're excited for it.
Other games are also making their comeback, like lacrosse, which was last seen in London 1948, and cricket, which was last seen in the 1900s Olympics. The other 2 games, squash and flag football, will be making their first ever Olympic debut. For this local lacrosse player, Garen Nolsky, the idea of seeing lacrosse on the world stage is exciting. However, he feels things with his career would be different if it was showcased earlier.
Once you're in the Olympics, it kind of everything seems real and a bigger deal to some. So if I was 8 years old and I saw lacrosse in the Olympics, I probably would have gotten to it sooner, to be honest with you.
The Edmonton Flag Football Association is gearing up in hopes that the exposure will bring more locals to the sport. The operations manager of the EFFA says it's definitely something that's going to be very exciting from our perspective and our association. With these 5 new sports taking on the Olympic stage, it is no surprise that fans and players are buzzing with excitement. For some of these sports, it is their first debut on the Olympic stage, and for others, they're making an amazing comeback. With End Zone Sports, I'm Karis Jorgensen.
So are you guys planning on checking out the home openers this weekend?
Honestly, I just need to use the weekend to relax after gathering news stories all week.
Not related to sports, but I wish them the best of luck. Thanks, Boo.
Coming up after the break, the wonderful world of entertainment. Leo, are you into martial arts?
I do, but I still want to explore different martial arts. Good thing our Fernando Rocha give us more details about the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm a very anxious guy, and I mean, every time that I come here, there's always someone trying to rip my head off. So what's a midterm when I have to face this every class, right? So it helps me to keep me calm.
Hey guys, it's Awet Magok, and this week for entertainment, I'm going to show you guys a cute little place, family friendly, and a place that you could even go out for a little date night. Stay tuned.
NAIT 2023 team jackets are brought to you by Refined RX Medical Aesthetics and Invincible Team Financial Group.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a sport with many techniques that are very hard to master.
In this week's Try This segment, our Fernando Rocha show us what it takes to learn the skills of this intricate martial arts.
Beginning to do something new is often challenging, embarrassing, but also rewarding, even more so when you are over 30.
E não tem idade, qualquer idade tem seu benefício, né?
Recently arrived from Brazil, Jovenardi found a way to continue spreading his knowledge and passion for this martial art of self-defense that was initially developed by the Brazilian brothers of the well-known Gracie family, after one of them learned Jiu-Jitsu from a Japanese traveler. It is considered a combat sport based on grappling, ground fighting, and submissions.
O foco sempre vai ser no chão, né? Então, nosso foco é imobilizar e neutralizar o oponente.
Well, one thing I know for sure, I loved making friends and learning more about the philosophy of Jiu-Jitsu. They consider each other family, and indeed, they are.
I like Jiu-Jitsu because it's a good, fun sport. It teaches you discipline, how to focus, how to react in certain situations as well.
I'm a very anxious guy, and I mean, every time that I come here, there's always someone trying to rip my head off. So what's a midterm when I have to face this every class, right? So it helps me to keep me calm on my everyday life.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can also be used to promote your physical fitness, building your character, and also as a way of life. For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Fernanda Rocha.
Two fantastic experiences are making waves in Edmonton.
That is right, Alyssa. And if you're into theaters or looking for some on-ground excitement, our entertainment host, Awet Magok, got you covered on that.
Thanks, guys. Are you a movie lover and a Swiftie? Well, I got good news for you. Attention all Taylor Swift fans, get ready to step into Taylor Swift's world like never before with The Eras, a Taylor Swift movie. On the coast, now the sun burns my heart. Swifties have recently been heading to the movies to witness the extraordinary journey of Taylor's career in a way they've never seen before. Featuring never-before-seen interviews and footage, this film is an absolute must-watch. So get your popcorn ready as the era of Taylor Swift is about to unfold before your eyes.
Taylor Swift is my favorite singer. I didn't get to go to her concert, but her movie made me feel better about it. I love her music so much. I recommend watching the movie. She's the best singer. Sorry, not sorry, Ariana Grande.
Don't miss your chance to experience this musical odyssey on the big screen. Grab your tickets now and relive the magic of Taylor Swift's unforgettable eras. If you're looking for something this season that's a little more thrilling than a scary movie, you should see the Spruce Ridge Scare Haunted House. Our Tristan Mathers brings us more spooky details.
This amateur haunted house, with a non-personal donation for the Parkland Food Bank, will give you the jumps for your life. The family that runs the Spruce Ridge Scare is back for their 7th year.
We started off with just a couple props and just progressively kept it growing, and we love doing charity work too, so.
This year, people can also enter a $5 monetary donation that will go towards men's mental health in honor of Travis Purdy, who was a DJ for the haunted house in one of the previous years.
We had actually a member of our haunted house family dealing with some mental issues, mental health issues, and he's no longer with us, so we wanted to do that in dedication to him.
Last year, they made 3,047 pounds for the food bank. With a setup that took around 400 hours, they hope to beat the previous record.
It's fun to get the reactions and just have the community come together for a good event and good charities.
We were actually going to stop running it a few years ago, but it's so popular and people love it so much. We just hate to break their hearts, so we just keep it going.
Oh, I was dying to see its attraction, and it also scared me to death. If you wish to have the same thing that happened to me, then come to Spruce Ridge Scare. The hours will be 6 to 10 p.m., 6 to 7 for kids, 7 to 10 for the adults. It'll be running from Friday to Sunday for the rest of October. I'm Tristan Mathers for NAIT NewsWatch.
It's that time of the year again when the leaves are falling and spooky season is upon us all. And cornfields come alive with twists, turns, and surprises. The Edmonton Corn Maze can immerse you with all kinds of fun, including with animals. Edmonton's Corn Maze is back offering a thrilling autumn adventure, from petting zoos to games and winding maze paths and surprises around every corner. It's a must-visit destination for all ages.
A lot of fun so far. We went through the maze and did both of the courses, and we didn't run into any dead ends, so that was awesome.
Whether you're exploring the maze paths or enjoying the seasonal festivities, it's a perfect way to embrace the autumn spirit. They'll be open until October 22nd, so go on over to Spruce Grove and enjoy the last bit of the fall season. Are you guys gonna go watch the Taylor Swift movie this weekend or visit the maze before it closes on the 22nd?
Yes, like those baby goats were so cute. I need to see them in person.
I'm not a Swiftie, but I might go check out the Taylor Swift movie. Thanks, Awet.
And now we have you all caught up on this week's latest news.
We will see you next Friday on NAIT NewsWatch with new faces, new voices, same mission. Have a good night.